I thought I would start off the morning. It's not the morning, it's 1:15. I had pasta for breakfast. Very, very weird. I've got one of the shirts that I got for my birthday on with my matching little Alice band. I slept with wet hair last night and it's gone just a bit, I don't know, it's looking a bit beachy vibes, but like a little bit frizzy, but you know. It's a chill day at home. I haven't vlogged for a few days. I think I've got one option next week for the same client working again, which is nice because they're my regular anyway, and it feels good to be able to leave the house. So we'll just keep an eye on like what the travel situation is and how I'm feeling about that and stuff. I thought I'd just do a really quick, easy makeup tutorial for you guys this morning. I have a lot of makeup and I like to make sure that if I'm not giving it away, you know, things that I don't use and stuff, to friends and family. Obviously that's not possible right now. I like to have like a basket on the go. This is very excessive, I realise, for those of you that don't have as much makeup as me. And I kind of put a load of stuff in here and make sure I'm swapping things out. Normally I have very limited things for like brow products, mascaras, because I find that I go through them quickly and I like what I like. But I just thought I'd show you a really easy, simple, natural, everyday makeup that's kind of like a little bit bronze, but it's just really pretty and nice. So your skincare prep is really important. So cleanse, make sure you've got your sunscreen on and all that kind of stuff, whatever you're doing. I like to add a little bit of this First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturiser because it has a little bit of a glow to it, and at the moment my skin's been like a little bit dry. You can see if I zoom you in, I've got a couple of little breakouts, but the rest of, I mean, my skin is fine, there's nothing wrong with it. I do have a little bit of fake tan on as well, but I've also been in the garden. It's been really nice, so I like to make sure that my skin is all prepped really nicely. The first thing I really like to do is take a colour corrector. This is the Revolution Conceal and Correct. This is peach colour, and I just like to pop a tiny bit on the darkest part. So I always get a little bit dark on the outer corner, and I always get a little bit dark on this inner corner. And when we put our concealer over it, this just means it's going to help to hide any of those kind of vein tones. You can take a little bit across the eyelid as well to hide some of these kind of veins if you want to. It's just a really easy way, especially if you kind of struggle with any kind of darkness under the eye. This kind of peachy tone, or more of an orangey red tone if you are much darker complexion than me, really helps to counteract that really deep blue or purple. For my base, I really like to keep it kind of light and fresh. I've not been wearing kind of a full foundation type thing at the moment. I really love these RCMA palettes. They're cruelty free. And they've got lots of different colours. You can buy them singularly as well, and they do a big kind of MUA palette. These are about 50% pigment, and as you can see I kind of mix these two for me. They're brilliant for kind of spot concealing because they are so pigmented. They can really build up and they blend into the skin. Just be a little bit wary if you are of an older skin and you have kind of a lot of fine lines and stuff. Cream makeup will move around. This is my own palette. I like to kind of mix the two. And then I will start kind of where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, so the centre of my face mainly. I will go around these areas. You can see like I have a few tiny little marks here, so I'm just going to press this over and then kind of blend it. So you get a little bit of redness in between my eyebrows. So you can see I still have some marks. You can just about see that one underneath the skin. It's all about kind of like blending it in. So I don't put a lot of product around the edge of my face because I don't really need it there. I just want it to look really natural. So what I'm then going to do is go in with like a more full coverage concealer, and I'm going to get the kind of leftover darkness, and I'll probably put a teeny bit up here, maybe just above the brows because I do get a little bit red there, and some on the chin. I could either use this would do the trick, but I just feel like these other two stay better and crease slightly less. So I really love the Kevin Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer. This stuff will last you ages. It's really, really, really heavily pigmented stuff. It's potent, you don't need a lot of it. but the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealers are actually really beautiful as well. I've got two colours here. I am Creme Brulee and Creme Cafe. If I want to really kind of highlight my inner corners, then I use a dab of the lighter one on the very inner corner after I've concealed with a little bit of this one. You can see one is quite a bit lighter than the other. And I am SX07 in the Kevin Aquan, which is enough to sort of brighten and stuff. So I'm going to use the Kevin Aquan one today. I'm just going to show you. So I tend to dab one of these brushes into it and then I kind of press it into the lid. I clean this lid on a regular basis, but I don't want to pick up too much product. And what I like to do is I like to pop a tiny bit on the end, blend in with the warmth of your finger. You'll see what I mean. That stuff is potent. And then I also like to place where I am darkest here, and then again go in with your finger, and then you can take some kind of clean brush and just kind of blend this edge because you don't want any harsh lines. But I find if you can keep this kind of centre area of the face a little bit bright, it just kind of makes the whole face a little bit more alive, and it kind of stops you from having to put loads and loads of product everywhere. I did really kind of light wash of a cream product so it looks like skin, and now I'm just ever so slightly, I mean I haven't even picked up any more product, I'm just ever so slightly going back in where I feel like I maybe want a little tiny bit of coverage. Just taking whatever's left on the brush and just kind of bringing it out here. We're not making like a big triangle with lots and lots of product. I'm just using what's left, and then I might take a little bit down the bridge of the nose just because that shade is slightly lighter, so I'm kind of using it as a little bit of a highlight as well, but I haven't, you know, I haven't put like stripes everywhere, and I'm just using the brush that I use to blend it with my foundation, just sort of blend everything evenly. And that will be my skin. I might just check and see if I can see that little, I mean, if there's still things peeking through, it's really not something that I'm bothered about, because once you kind of get your colour products on and stuff, you start to look a little bit more put together anyway. So I'm a really big fan of creams at the moment. I've really been enjoying using this palette. So I'm going to take a duo fibre and I'm just going to pop some of the like darker shades. These are quite warm. If you don't want a warm tone kind of bronzer, certainly you would not be able to use this for contour. I have been enjoying just popping some of this on my cheeks and using it as a bronzer. Otherwise, I mean, you could use a powder bronzer obviously if you are a little bit more oily, that would work just as nicely. I just find that for me, because my skin is a little bit dry at the moment even with the warmer weather, that it's just nice to use some more kind of glowy and skin-like products. I always like to take a little bit, you can kind of tap it off on this to make sure, or the back of your hand to make sure you've not got too much product. And I like to take a little bit across the nose as well because you can actually catch some colour there. I mean, that's a couple of products and I feel like I already look, you know, a bit more human. I love a bit of a full glam, but I don't think you kind of need it for every day. And I just love a skin, you know, a skin finish. This brush is one of my favourite things ever. I use it for foundation, but I also love it for powder, for anything really. It's the Real Techniques setting brush, and I'm going to go in with a little bit of my Jeffree Star translucent powder. There are many powders that are not as expensive as this that you could use. I do prefer a loose powder, but I do like a few kind of compact ones as well. The Soap and Glory compact one, the One Heck of a Blot, is affordable, cruelty free, and a compact one if you're afraid of kind of the mess of loose powders. And I do kind of drag it under here first to kind of smooth everything out, but then I do like to press my powder into the skin because I feel like then you're not sort of moving what you've done around too much. And I've not, I mean, there was the tiniest bit in there, I don't know even if you can see if there's any left, but I will kind of go around here, work it into the brush. And then the next thing that I like to do is I like to do my brows. You've seen me do my brows before, I think, but I also wanted to show you using this pen. This is the Stroker Brow by Ardell, and you can create real kind of hair strokes with this. So when I'm at home and stuff, or I want less of a bold brow because I'm going for a more natural look, or just because I want to change it up, I love using this to create real kind of feathery hair strokes. It's just a little bit lighter than using something like a actual kind of pencil tip styly thing. Right, when you're happy, just give them a really good kind of brush through before you go and pop your brown mascara on. I do like a really expensive one, I'm not going to lie to you. This is the Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia, but it's not expensive when you get the mini. So this was like £9, and I've been using it for at least 3 months at this point, which might sound disgusting, but there's loads left. It's still really kind of wet when it goes on, and this stuff is literally like glue. I like a big kind of natural fluffy brow at the moment, especially if I'm going more kind of natural with my makeup. So this is a really beautiful brow mascara. The full size is like 20 something pounds, and I'm just not willing to do that. But yeah. For blush, I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Colourpop blush sticks in Roosevelt. Their Super Shock cheeks are really nice. This colour Between the Sheets is a really beautiful kind of just neutral kind of pinky tone. This one's a little bit more warm. It's more of a terracotta. It doesn't lift anything, so I kind of just dab it on where I want it, and then I'll blend it in. You can use fingers, you can use a brush if you prefer. What I tend to do is go in with fingers, or I'll go in with the same brush that I use for my bronzer, and I just kind of like tap it out so that it blends nicely into the other cream products. Don't really want any harsh lines, and my blusher placement is a little bit higher because I feel like that kind of lifts the face a little bit more. What's really nice about this makeup is if you are kind of like in the sun and you're outside a little bit and you're going to get a little bit shiny and stuff, it kind of suits it. And if you bring like a couple of like these brushes or something, you can kind of just push things back into place if they start to move, because it's all kind of like creams, you know. It's quite an easy, no fuss thing to do, and if it wears off, it's not like you're going to have like full coverage wearing off. It wears off nicely. I have been using the Charlotte Tilbury highlighting wand stick or whatever in the gold one, but I'm going to use something a little bit cheaper today, and it is a powder. This is the Ofra mini highlighter in Rodeo Drive. The full size again are like 20 something pounds, but if you pick up the miniature version, then you're going to pay about £11 or something. So this stuff will last you for months, even in the mini size. This is still my first one. Haven't hit pan yet, and it's beautiful. Lips, a tinted lip balm is great. I've been using this Lip Glow pomade by Dior. This is not cruelty free. It recommends you do something else, but this is what I've had to hand. So, and then you can kind of line your lips with a little bit of lip liner if you want to. I often do just a teeny bit to give some definition. Then for a really easy eye, I just like to take, especially if I've been using like a powder bronzer, I'll just take the bronzer that I was using. You can put a base on if you want to. I'm not going to bother today. And just take the bronzer that you were using and bung it all over the eye and just give it a really good kind of blend out, so you get this kind of blown out matte bronzy eye. It's a really, really easy thing to do, and if you're getting really stuck and you don't want to bring loads of eyeshadows and things, as long as you've got like a decent bronzer with you, you can pop some underneath the eye, pop some all into the crease, and then you can smoke it out with a liner and add some mascara, and it's just really super easy. I'm not going to bother with liner today. I'm just going to curl my lashes and put a load of mascara on. But this is the easiest thing if you're traveling, if you're going on holiday, and you don't want to have like loads of makeup on. Minimal multi-purpose products are excellent. Then just whack a load of mascara on. I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Slim Skinny, this one, which is super cheap, and you can get it from eBay, and it is a fibre mascara, and it doesn't smudge on me, but it's not waterproof. So if you're going swimming or doing any of that kind of stuff, then you might want to rethink. If you want to be really bougie, you can go in with, again, I've got another Anastasia mini because I don't want to pay 20 something pounds for mascara. I'm just going to pop a little bit of this mascara over the top of the one that I just used. Once you've got that on, you can kind of take a little bit of your bronzer again and just go over any areas that you feel like need some deepening up. I would often leave this here, but if you want to be a little bit extra bougie, just take your highlighter that you used and pop a teeny bit on that inner corner. And that is your easy, everyday, bronzy model face, using minimal products and looking very natural. I'm just going to zoom in. but it's not overloaded with product. It's not sinking into lines or anything. It's just kind of sitting there nicely. There you go. So after our little makeup tutorial this morning, you can see, why does it like, I feel like maybe the light just makes my skin look blurred. You can see I do get a little bit glowier throughout the day, but I don't mind it. I thought we'd do a little, a little Q&A. I did ask some questions on Instagram and I got a load through, so I am going to just go through some for you. So, have you ever considered living abroad for a while, maybe in Germany? So yes, I have. Obviously that's kind of not something that I'm able to do now, and I had another opportunity kind of recently come about, which I'm hoping I'll be able to talk about later, which I don't think I would have been able to do that. I had discussed with my German agency. For those of you who don't know, I am also signed with Model Work in Germany, which is a really good modelling agency over there, and I've been signed with them since I was like straight size, so I must have been there about 10 years or something at least, I would imagine. And I get a lot of work doing kind of German catalogue stuff. So when you work as a model, you're often signed with more than one agency, because generally speaking you might go spend some time in New York, or you might do Cape Town for a season, because they do really awesome like swimwear and more editorial style shoots, like really cool locations and stuff. So you do often have the option to go and spend some time. A lot of the girls obviously from different countries come over to London for a couple of months, kind of any of the main hubs, so like Milan, Paris, New York. I know some of the girls do Miami, because again for like swimwear and stuff it's really good over there. Cape Town again is a really good kind of swim location, and a lot of girls do that. So I had considered doing it, and now obviously with everything kind of going on, that's not really going to happen. It would have been a really good opportunity, so what I would have done is kind of got clients and jobs and stuff lined up for the first couple of weeks, and I probably would have done a month there or something like that, because a lot of my work is in Germany anyway. So yes, that is something that I've considered. It's something that I have also done. I didn't really live there, I guess, but I did do 2 weeks in Paris, and I stayed in a model flat and stuff. I probably wouldn't go back to Paris unless I was a tourist, because my experience there as a model wasn't very nice at all. But that is generally something that you are given the option to do, particularly if you don't have kind of like kids and stuff. So if I wanted to do that, kind of now would be a better time to do it. But yeah, I've considered it. I have kind of stayed for a few weeks in other countries and stuff, but I wouldn't, at this point in my life where I have pets, I have goals, I do have a regular client in the UK, and the flying is quite easy for me to do. I would consider going and doing a month in Germany, but that's obviously something that we're gonna have to see about now, because some things have changed for me, and it's not possible currently because all the borders and stuff are shut anyway. Do you use a budget system as you are self-employed? To be honest with you, I don't. And I don't only because I do look at my accounts regularly, and obviously I do my yearly accounts, and I've got much better in the last couple of years of kind of looking at what I'm earning, what's coming in every month, and I keep a really good work diary with everything, like what I actually get, like what my day rate is for that job, whether there's a bigger buyout, if it's like a big commercial or something. So I keep a log of all this stuff, so I can kind of see at a glance roughly what's coming in, or what is rather expected to come in the next 3 months. When I am busy, like I have been, I don't really have time to do fun things or to spend money, because I'm hardly ever home. So this year's been very different for me in the fact that I have to look kind of less at budgeting, because the only money that I was really spending are all on like taxis, hotel food at the airport and things like that, because I just wasn't having any time to do anything for myself. So that is something that I'm very conscious about now, particularly as I did have to take a loan out and got into some debt while I was really sick a couple of years ago, which I'm still paying off. And it's something that I think if you are self-employed is a really good thing to do. So this year in particular, sort of the last 12 months, I have been much better at knowing what I've got coming in, the dates of jobs, when that money is due and stuff, and not just relying on my agency to be like, oh, this job's just come in, I know when it's due, I'm already there, I'm asking for the money, I want to know why it hasn't been paid, if it's overdue. And as someone that's self-employed, you kind of have to do that. I wish I'd started doing that when I was much younger. When you're self-employed and you're really young, I think especially in the modelling industry, like some money that you earn can be a lot of money in one go. You won't see it for months and you're probably poor to start with, or had got into debt by doing all the travelling of your own accord and stuff. But I often receive money in like lump sums of quite a lot, and like they're few and far between, and that means like money comes in and you think, oh my god, that's like £4,000 or something, and actually you realise, okay, 25% of that to cover myself, I should put it away for tax. The rest of it might have to last me however long, because, you know, I've spent 3 months without being paid. So it is something, if you are self-employed, especially if you are newly self-employed, a budget system or having like a spreadsheet or something on the go, making sure that you're keeping a work diary of all your invoices and stuff. Even if you do have an agency because you're a model or you're a makeup artist or something, having that stuff organised is a really good thing to do. And I have found in the last 12 months or so, as I've been working a lot more, that's something that I have found much easier to keep on top of everything, and that I would definitely suggest. It's not something that I actively have like a big spreadsheet for or anything, but I regularly look at accounts, I keep a work diary, I know what's going in and out, and it's something that I check like every few days. I'm checking my accounts, making sure nothing funny's going on, seeing who's paid me and all of that kind of stuff. So I don't have a set budget. I have a rough idea of like, if I wanna spend some money on clothes or something, then I always have a limit for that. Unless I see something in it I think it looks really nice, or it's kind of like me doing some skincare stuff or whatever, I generally don't spend a lot of money on that kind of stuff now anyway. So it's something I recommend you do, but it's not something that I specifically have kind of set up on a spreadsheet or anything like that. What sports do you like? Do you mean to play or to watch? I played netball for a bit. I was kind of into like football and rugby and stuff when I was much younger, but I stopped that because I was afraid of injuries and stuff, bruising things for work. That sounds really silly, but that's something that you have to think about. Training like gym wise, I like weights. I'm also really into yoga, and I do really love like circuit and HIIT training, like high intensity interval type training. I'm not really much of a runner or like a hardcore like long form cardio. It's just something that I don't enjoy and is incredibly boring to me. I see the benefit of it I mean it's great for mindfulness, like running is free, you can kind of run anywhere, so that is handy, but I'm much more kind of into circuit training. Sports to watch, I don't really watch any. I did date someone very briefly who plays for Wasps rugby, and so I did get kind of more into it then. My brother and my dad are really kind of rugby boys, and if there was anything that I'd be interested in watching, I would watch rugby. I understand it. And I'm not really much of a kind of sport watching person, although I do really enjoy watching the athletics. Actually, that is one thing that I do really enjoy, because I used to do athletics when I was younger. I did shot put, 100 meters, 200 meters and relay, and I was always fourth leg for relay, which was great because our team was really good, and so like I was the fourth leg and I could always win, and it's a good feeling when you win stuff. Trying is very important, but it was nice to win. So yeah, I've always been quite sporty. I'm still into my training, but I think equally kind of that stretching and more yoga style stuff is really good, particularly if you've got back, hip, joint problems, and can be quite like restorative and a great thing to do. And particularly if you're doing a lot of weight training, then it's also something I would highly recommend looking at, so you don't end up with kind of like shorter muscles because of your kind of heavy weight training and stuff. So I think there's a balance to be had where exercise is concerned, and if you can't do those more kind of intense things, then just like getting out and moving your body more is always a good thing. But to be honest, I don't really watch much sport. I'm interested in like sports documentaries and stuff, but I don't really like actively watch like football or anything. I've never been a football fan. I don't get it. I think rugby is, you know, more interesting. Change of habits during lockdown, yeah, probably. I mean, I'm still making sure that I get up, like I put a face on if I'm feeling that, and I'm, you know, trying to wear a bra of some kind and like put some clothes on to make myself feel better. But obviously I think my sleep schedule, much like a lot of other people's, has kind of gone out of the window because I was flying a lot and all of that kind of stuff. I feel like that kind of schedule is still not really a proper schedule because I was here, there and everywhere in hotels and early starts and late nights and things, but it at least got me into a pattern of when I got into my hotel, it was like shower and bedtime, and so when I got home at the weekend I would still go to bed I would go to bed a little bit earlier than I was able to when I was travelling and stuff, but I would also get a little bit of a lie-in and still be up like before 8:30. Now I'm like sleeping in till 9:30, and I'm probably going to bed at like midnight, 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 a.m. I mean, it's just not good really. I think a lot of us are struggling unless you're working from home. Dad's working from home and he's still up early, and he's kind of clocking off at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, because he's like an early riser anyway, so he's logging on at like 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, I think that's one thing, is that even though when you're a model you don't have much of a routine, I have much less of one now, although I'm trying. What's your favourite colour and film? My favourite colour is blue, although I'm wearing a lot of yellow and stuff lately. And my favourite film is the Shawshank Redemption, which is a fantastic film. And it's about a young man who gets put in prison for something that he didn't do. And it also has Morgan Freeman in it. And who doesn't love Morgan Freeman? It's funny, brilliantly shot, clever, entertaining, got some fantastic scenes in it, and it's also like really touching and heartwarming, and it does get emotional in places as well, so it's a really good kind of all-rounder, and I feel like it's one of those like classics. If you haven't seen it, then you absolutely should. But I also, this is gonna sound really nerdy, I love Harry Potter. I was a massive Harry Potter fan. I grew up with Harry Potter. I actually have like the Deathly Hallows tattoo on the back of my neck, and it's something that I always loved growing up because that's what I grew up with, and it was just magical and amazing. And I still love all the films, but I wouldn't say they are like crazy amazing films. They're not sort of like touching or emotional or, you know, that kind of thing. I love them because that's what I grew up with, and it's a major part of my childhood, and I love the books. But if you're looking for an absolute cracker, then The Shawshank Redemption has to be it. Best pranks. We're not really a pranking family. we're like a fright family, if that makes sense. Like, we like to scare the shit out of each other. Like, we've got these hideous masks of my mum's face that my brother and my brother's girlfriend thought would be hilarious to all wear for her birthday one year, and they're like quite big. You've probably seen them on my Instagram. If you don't follow me there, you should, because the Janes family fright war is going on right now, and it is quite amusing. And so we've been like hiding them in cupboards, like wearing them and sneaking up on each other, like all sorts of like hideous stuff going on right now. And frankly, I'm afraid in my own home. So I'm living in fear, not of the virus, but of my own family. Favourite things to do during lockdown. If you don't follow me on Instagram, then you should, because there's also lots of plant updates. So me and Dad, like, our garden needs kind of redoing. The people that last owned it, like their older adult son lived here by himself for a few months first, and there's like a big patch in the middle where like this guy had a fire in the middle of the lawn. I don't know why you would do that, but there's also kind of like compost and like a hard standing at the back that like needs levelling and everything, so like there needs to be a lot of work done. So we don't have like a proper vegetable patch, although we have plans for that. We've kind of potted a load of veg, and that's been going really well. I've been doing like a nice little bit of gardening. I've done some weeding and stuff as well, and yeah, the potted veg and stuff has been really nice. We've got some herbs on the go, and then we have chives, which have just started to come up, spring onions, radishes. We've got some sweet peas just because they're really pretty and they're nice little climbers. Tomato plant that Dad orders. We've got some strawberries, which you will have seen in a different vlog, because we had wild strawberries in the garden which we planted to see if they would do better in a pot, and then we did order some actual like proper kind of like normal, almost like shop bought kind of strawberry plants, and they're doing really well as well. And then my nan sent my dad a cucumber plant as well, and then I think we're waiting for courgettes, and we've got some grow bags to do some potatoes with as well. Dad also got a load of like mixed lettuce, like cos lettuce and like some other kind of frilly kinds, and those are actually getting to a size now where like one lettuce could be a small side salad. So this is all very exciting. So I've really been enjoying that. I think also I redid Fred's tank. I'll link the video up here if you haven't seen that, if you're interested in reptiles. Like, just kind of trying to better my animal care, spending more time with both of them, which is why I wanted to redo Fred's tank. And I've spent a lot of time on the phone, actually. I've been talking to my boyfriend a lot. We would anyway, but that's been nice. But also like having more chats with like the couple of girlfriends that I have, and my other friend Andy. who I don't see very often, but like we're like this. I used to live with him in London. He's just such a legend. He's also very good looking. You should go follow him on Instagram, ladies. You're welcome. He's a right laugh. He's also a model, but he's kind of doing more like film stuff now. I've just been kind of catching up, spending more time with family and stuff, although they're all like starting to drive me insane, as I think everyone's getting to that point. I love them dearly, and it's been nice to have some time at home in my own bed, just not having to live out of a suitcase, because me and my partner don't live together yet, we were kind of house hunting before kind of lockdown happened. Of course, everything likes to fuck my plans. So even when I had free time, obviously I would want to see my boyfriend, so I would go over to his. And so I was even living out of a suitcase. Like when I got home, I would either go straight from the airport to his because he lives closer to Gatwick, or I would come home, spend one night, pack a suitcase, and then be off to my boyfriend's for a few days. So it's been nice to just be at home and like live out of my wardrobe normally, like a normal human being. Yeah, but I think just getting outside, spending time with loved ones, and also like being able to have the time to like spend a good hour on the phone to my mates has kind of been some of my favourite things. And I've also been watching a lot of kind of YouTube, learning about sort of reptiles and stuff, because that's what I like to do in my spare time. Neighbours has still been on, so I've been enjoying that because I love Neighbours. I don't care what you think, I know I'm old, that's fine. Yeah, I'm looking for a few good films and documentaries. So I've seen all the usual, like Making a Murderer, The Jinx, watched Tiger King. I love all of that kind of stuff. It's just really fascinating to me. I love all the true crime stuff. And then I think me and my boyfriend are going to kind of have like a virtual documentary date later, about 9 o'clock. We're going to watch Free Solo, which is about the climber that like free climbed El Capitan. So I'm going to watch that. I haven't seen it. It's not new. Yeah, I'm going to watch that later. So yeah, those are all the questions I received. I think as this video is going to be quite a long video, I'll probably leave it there for today. There will be more vlogs coming up because I do want to start doing that. I've got to grips with my new laptop and everything is set up properly, and I know how to work Premiere Pro now and all that kind of stuff. And I do want to do a video on friendships because I lost a friend recently due to a fallout, not anything else. Sorry, that was probably a really awful way of wording it, but it's something that I think I want to discuss with you guys. Not necessarily like full details, but I'll give you like the general gist and then kind of why I think it's relevant, because I think we've all kind of got to a point where maybe we've had a lot of time to think about what we want, and we, you know, I think times like these bring out like the best or the worst in people, and we've all had time to think about life in general, and we've all sort of probably just got more time on our hands. So I think sometimes that makes you reassess things. I think it'd be an interesting conversation to have. I also have a bikini try-on haul coming up. I ordered a couple of swimsuits and a few different sets of bikinis from ASOS, knowing that I was probably going to return quite a few of them, because I don't, generally speaking, I have like maybe 1 or 2 on the go, and they tend to last me years. I don't think you necessarily need a new bikini every season, I just don't. I didn't know whether you guys maybe wanted to see that as like a body acceptance or body confidence type discussion, and to just see like what different shapes might look like on someone that is tall but also quite curvy and actually has like a fuller bust as well. So yeah, that will be coming up for sure. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and I will see you very soon. Okay, bye.